Hi everyone, Richard here with companion video number 2 to a blog post I wrote about submitting calendar events via a Google Form submission. So in this example, as like in the previous example, I'm submitting a Google Form that has a requirement of repeating events within a given date range. In this example, I'll illustrate how you can include an approval workflow. So in other words, the events are not being created upon form submit, but rather when you indicate in the sheet that they should be approved and added to the calendar. So in this example, nothing changes in terms of the form, but I do want to point out some differences in the app script as well as the Google Sheet that goes with this. So let's jump on over to the Google Sheet. So the first thing you'll notice that is different is I've added a status column just left of the timestamp. So if you're working with the previous code, you'll need to slide everything over by one column. And what this does is it adds a layer of data validation every time a form is submitted. So you could include multiple layers of statuses for your events. In this case, I just have two, approved and pending. And by default, pending is added to the row of data. So that's at the front end. And then at the back end, there is another status column. This is the event status. And what this tells me is that if the event has already been added, or when it's added, it adds the event ID to this column. So in other words, if the column is blank and the status is approved, it'll then fill it in. So this way you can avoid creating duplicate events. So it's this criteria paired with this criteria that will tell the script, okay, go ahead and upload that event series to the calendar. And then the other new thing is this custom menu, and we'll look at how this is created. But essentially, if I want to add events that have been approved, I simply take a pending event, put it into the approved column, and then I can click in my custom menu, add approved events to calendar. When I do this, it runs and it adds those events to the calendar. So let's go ahead and open up the app script so you can see what's different about that. So at the top is the function that creates the custom menu. So this gives you that new menu option with a quick sort of button to trigger the script to upload the events. The second function, and this one is set to run on form submit. So when I submit a form, it will add the data validation in that row of the most recently submitted form, giving it a default value of pending. Again, these can be modified to your needs. And then, of course, the same function that was in the previous script was simply the actual upload. The only difference here is there is a for loop. So what this is telling us is that we're going to start in row 2, and we're going to loop through all the rows until we get to the last row of data, and then we'll stop after that. And then in that loop, it's going to check for a condition. So this is what I was talking about earlier, where if the approval status is equal to approved and the event status is blank, then it's going to go ahead and add it to the calendar. So, but if the event status is not blank and it's approved, nothing will happen. So this is again avoiding duplicate event creation on the calendar. And then if there's no events to be found, you can always check the log and it's going to write no events found. So that's that. So let's just kind of walk through a new workflow of this, and let me open up the calendar as well so we have a sense of what we're looking at. All right, so let's create a new event. So we're going to do girls basketball in the gym. This is just a night practice. And we're going to start that event. Let's move into the future a bit to get away from some of the existing events. So from Monday, May 25th, we're going to go all the way for a month. We'll go to June. We'll just call June 30th the last day. And we're going to start 7 p.m. and we'll go to 8:30 p.m. And we're going to do this just twice a week. So we'll say Mondays and Thursdays are those days, and I'm going to hit submit. So in this case, nothing has gone to the calendar yet. And if I look at my Google Sheet, I see I've got a pending event here. And there's nothing in my event status. So if I read this and I determine that the gym is available at these times and I want to go ahead and approve this event, to get this on the calendar, all I would need to do is change the status to approved, and then come up here to my custom menu and say add approved events to the calendar, and my work is done. So I can come back and I can look at the calendar. I'm going to go ahead to May. So here we see in May we have the girls basketball practice every Monday and Thursday as scheduled until up to basically June 29th, the end of the month. So there you have it. Thanks for watching.